Welcome back, my beautiful humans, to another episode of If I Die Tomorrow. I'm your host, Nicole, and I am grateful and I'm excited. I'm excited because today is April 7th, a normal Tuesday, April 7th. But tomorrow is Wednesday, April 8th. Yeah, I know, a Wednesday. But it marks exactly 1 year that I was brave enough to hit record, crazy enough to upload this beautiful thing of If I Die Tomorrow. I'll be honest, I had a whole vision of a celebration and putting off actually doing an episode, and then I got real with myself because it's a Wednesday. So I will probably be sitting in my favorite yoga pants with my hair unbrushed, no makeup on, looking at a computer screen that has frozen for the third time, wondering where my logic is and if I actually misplaced my big water cup. And I know you probably think you can't, how could you misplace this big thing? I've done it. Believe me. Because, well, I'm human. So yeah, I've done it. And to that, cheers. You've been with me long enough to know that I have never been about waiting for the perfect moment because, again, I don't believe in perfection, blah, blah, blah. But I do like to have an honest moment. And the truth is, I didn't want to wait until Wednesday just to tell you how much this year has wrecked me in some of the best possible ways. I wanted to catch you at an in-between space of an anniversary so that we can actually look back on the last 364 days of trial, error, accidental breakthroughs, with some humor that's brought us here to this moment today. Before we officially step into year 2, let's talk about the lessons that have changed my life, and I hope maybe changed yours as well. While I was busy trying to figure all of this out without going crazy and crying all the time. Some of this is all still a work in progress. I've kind of figured out the microphone, still working on editing. I know, I need a little bit more grace. Or practice. Both, probably. But when we started talking, we started out with the most important thing, the question, if I die tomorrow. Then we talked about legacy. We talked about humor. We talked about listening. We talked about being prepared, not paranoid, which I still really like that episode. And I am working on putting that together, a digital product for that, including, your passwords and all of that good fun stuff. But whatever, I just went off on a tangent, sorry. But we've also talked about religion and who the world says God is and who I say God is and infinite mercy. And I know we just came off of Easter. And so another big theme in this life. But we've also learned about communication and vibe checks. But we didn't just stay generic. We also got pretty invasive, down to the brass tacks of things in some situations. We stopped looking at words and we started seeing the walls. Let's think back to some of the things that we've learned and unlearned together. Some of our most recent is the mirror of hypocrisy. we often realize that we demand a level of honesty and respect that we don't always give because we're afraid to see into some of the dark spaces that we still have in our hearts and our minds. We've learned that I don't have to match the temperature in a toxic room. Nope. I don't have to be okay with the weather. I can actually control that dial on the thermostat and be in control of the climate. Because I don't need to have two hypocrites in a room because it's not a fun party. I've learned that avoiding conflict, although in some cases necessary, usually ends up with a cost that I'm not really emotionally willing or able to pay. See, some of those conflicts are just pretending that there's peace and resolution is just putting off a debt that I'm going to have to pay later with interest. Who wants that? I don't really want that anymore. Because again, even if I could afford it, I don't think I want to. And then, another thing is, we've also learned that sometimes the most intentional thing that you can do is just laugh. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at the fact that you have spent 20 minutes arguing with a wall or a very stubborn sourdough starter or a 5-year-old who thinks they're the boss. And I know I didn't do this alone. I did it with all of you. Every comment, every email, every like, every subscribe, every share has built this community. You have become architects of a community that I am so proud and grateful to be a part of. And I thank you. And I hope that we continue to grow and we add new friends. And so all of the support that you give by doing those things and being interactive is so helpful to me and this channel and this podcast so that we can continue to grow. And I am so excited for that. And I really want to tell you that sometimes I think this podcast is about a Cliff Notes version for the soul on getting through this thing called life that came with no manual. So again, thank you. You're probably wondering, okay, we've covered a lot, so where are we going in year 2? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because in year 1, we cleared a lot and we poured a foundation. Year 2, we're going to start to build. And when we build, we're going to be building using 4 things: honesty, humility, humor, and grace. A whole lot of grace. We're diving deep into choices versus consequences. We're going to stop calling our consequences bad luck. Start seeing them as the harvest of the choices that we previously planted. We're going to dismantle blame and not look at it as the cozy little blanket we wrap ourselves up in so we don't have to face things that we've done or said. And we can face some acceptance. I know, grown-up adult things, blah, blah, blah. I will tell you, though, we won't be all business. I promise. We're going to actually, one of the topics that we'll talk about is the art of listening. Not just to respond, but to hear, but also for things that weren't said. We're not going to assume because we all know what assumption means. And I don't really feel like being one of those today either. We're also going to talk about the hilarious absurdity of being mindful when your neighbor is using his leaf blower at 7 a.m. I hate to say this, but it's not been 7, but it's been pretty early that my husband and we have done that. And we're also going to talk about how living intentionally might just be choosing the least wrinkled shirt in your laundry basket. And it's okay. The most honest thing that I can tell you about the reflection of the last 364 days, because we have not made 365 yet, is that I am not the same person I was on April 8th, 2025. I have a few more laugh lines, significantly less tolerance for small talk that makes me feel like I'm chewing cardboard. I've also learned some of my boundaries that are important. And I've made friends with all of you. As the Coleism for this new year, I'm going to tell you that we didn't tear down our walls just to stand in the rubble. We're going to use those bricks to build a bridge back to ourselves. In year 2, we aren't going to be just matching energy anymore. We are going to become the source. Tomorrow, when the clock strikes midnight and we have officially hit year 2, I want you to take a breath. Don't look at your to-do list. Look at your who I've become list. You are the architect of your heart, and even if the blueprints are wrinkled, smudged, and have a few spills on them, your structure is solid. And you need to remember that. I want to thank you for an incredible year. Thank you for letting me be a beautiful mess. I say beautiful loosely. For listening to my rants and for helping do some of the heavy lifting alongside of me. I cannot wait to see what we build next and how we build it. Now go do something that makes your ego a little nervous. And as always, be kind, be grateful, stay humble.